I'm Eric Mullins, and I write, illustrate, and self-publish my own manga called Blithe. And while I've been doing this for the past roughly 9 years, I've been watching tons of anime. I usually watch dub, but if ever I'm given the opportunity, or if I have free time available, I will watch the sub versions. Well, hold on to your hats, because this is an anime I definitely delved into the subs for. I'm not particularly a fan of the dubbing to this show. I mean, it's from the year 2000, and back then, really good dubs were very few and far between. If ever you have a difference of opinion with me, be sure to write so in the comments section below. I love a good conversation, and debates are always really fun, especially with anime, because so many things can get so heated, but as long as you keep it respectful, it's always awesome. Okay, let's talk about the anime Furi Kuri, and if it even holds up compared to today's anime. I mean, maybe it isn't for you, but then again, maybe it is. Full disclaimer, this series was one of, if not my favorite anime of all time growing up. I had rewatched this series so often, then held off from rewatching it for the past 16 years. So now that I've finally gotten back into it, how does it fare? Are my sentiments the same as they once were? Does it still ignite the flame and passion within me as it once had? Guess we'll find out. Another disclaimer, some people have a hard time dealing with emotional content in a series. FLCL pushes the boundaries of coming of age, plot lines, and it does so by, despite not actually showing blatant explicit scenes, it does depict a lot of sexual content and innuendos. Another quick disclaimer. There is most probably underage smoking. There is also quite a bit of drinking, reckless driving, and multiple instances of child endangerment and violence throughout the series. Another quick disclaimer, this series leans hard on symbolism, comedy, and irony. If you aren't able to comprehend this sort of writing, you should maybe steer clear of FLCL. Okay, is that it, Council of Eriks? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
In baseball, nothing can happen until you swing that bat. As this metaphor is used consistently in the series, I guess I should start swinging away. The series is 6 episodes. There are 2 spin-off series that are also 6 episodes a pop and were released 18 years later. But the overuse of poorly rendered effects, along with mediocre directing and one-dimensional writing, makes these 2 spin-off shows fall so incredibly far from the source material, with exception to the incredible top-tier music, but more on this later. These episodes push to about 150 minutes, and the series doesn't actually have an intro theme song. Like, what? Especially considering their musical circumstances, but each episode gives off a film vibe where we get a cold intro. A cold intro is when you've got something before the intro credits that plays some perfectly balanced tune to lead into the title of each episode. The name of the game Furi Kuri pushes down your throat is hormonal chaos. We follow a boy named Souta and his growing pains after his older brother, a baseball prodigy, left their crummy, lame nothing town and moved to America for a chance at that classic American dream so many of us hear about. He not only up and left his little bro with his grandpa and somewhat neglectful father, we don't really know about the mother situation. Anywho, he also left behind an extremely emotionally volatile girlfriend named Mamimi. Souta hangs out with Mamimi quite often as she seems to influence his decline into delinquency. Sorry, Eric, just gonna be a second. I would like to talk about Mamimi for a moment. When I first watched this series back in 2000, I thought very little of her. I was probably roughly her age at the time, and aside from thinking she was eccentric and a little weird, we all have hobbies, I never really gave it much thought. But rewatching everything, her whole evolution is so incredibly heartbreaking. Here is a girl that goes through a lot of bullying in school, gets herself a star boyfriend, who ditches her for his lifelong dreams that she is clearly not a part of. The bullying returns and now she doesn't want to go to school anymore, so she starts cutting classes and days, which is terrible for her academically. She tries getting an emotional connection with the younger brother who is growing up fast and slowly makes his own path in life that she is most probably not a part of. Everything she tries to connect with either hurts her or destroys so much around her. And once the series comes to its end, she gains some acclaim for something she decides to ride her whole life on. And it's mentioned so quickly on a newspaper cover. What? You invested so much time into this girl, making us invest so much time into this girl, and this is the closure we get for this girl? It's better than nothing, but the last 1 minute ends as chaotically as the rest of the series. At least it's consistent with its story structure. We now return to our regular broadcast. Souta is just chilling with Mamimi when all of a sudden, bam, she came in like a wrecking ball. Haruko Haruhara, that's it, right? Speeds in, smashes her cute yellow Vespa straight into our main protagonist. She fixes him up using mouth to mouth, then home run smashes his head with a Rickenbacker 4001 bass guitar. Instruments are sort of the chosen weapon in this series. This smack alters Sauta's physical being and transcends his brain into some sort of Stargate portal that allows creatures from throughout the universe to pass through into our dimension or world. Haruko is looking for something or someone, and she'll do whatever she has to in order to get it. She's manipulative, aggressive, spiteful, loud, and cares little for her surroundings and the people in it, and she's got her eye set on Sauta's brain abilities, because not everyone's brain is capable of doing what his can as well as his can. Along the way, they also get themselves a robot housekeeper that has a TV for a head named Kanti. I know that nowadays it's commonplace to have a TV-headed robot in media, but back then, it was fresh and somewhat unique. This is the main stage to FLCL, but behind this outlandish science fiction, abstract, chaotic, fourth wall breaking roller coaster ride of a main plot lies so much symbolism, hidden messages, and deep understanding of the emotional fragility humans go through. Even side characters get small moments that make them feel rounded out as a real person would be. As I watched each episode, all I could think of was how most shows nowadays display this sort of thing through violent trauma. It was refreshing just to experience it through regular old growing up trauma. It's part of what makes Furi Kuri so relatable despite its over-the-top foreground happenings. The animation quality is insane good. The fluidity and movement puts its future counterparts to utter shame. I would say that in the first episode, we get a lot of moments where there isn't really anything going on in the background department, and it almost seemed as though they were saving their budget for the big finale of that episode. I should have mentioned this, but each episode was released a few months apart. It showed because each new episode, they seem to have a larger and larger budget to contribute towards their animation team. The styles switching up regularly throughout the series, going from classic anime to drawn black and white manga to almost painted on canvas look, and even copying South Park's style. This is done to elicit a certain type of emotion from us, the viewer, and it's done exceptionally well. The directing is just top tier. Many moments blended so well with visual cues and a certain song buildup that will have you bobbing your head up and down to the beats while anticipating that next scene. There are a lot of moments that could be paused and turned into like some epic poster to hang up on your basement wall over your accurate yellow Vespa and Kanti action figure. Yo, why are there so few FLCL statues? It borders on 0. So yeah, visually beautiful. And the music pushes that beauty right over the edge to insanity, cause too much of a good thing is a gooder thing. The pillows. To you, it's just a household luxury. But to anyone experiencing Furi Kuri, it's straight up a gift from the god Slanish to your ears. The whole soundtrack to FLCL is done by them, from the OG series to the newer ones, and it's all good. With music that hypes moments to a level equivalent to Goku hitting that Super Saiyan level for the first time, the build-up for such moments in FLCL are hot. Total fire, it's out of control. You will listen to their soundtrack on repeat until your brain begs you for a break. This is the kind of music in an anime series that inspire other shows and will continue to do so for generations. I really wasn't a fan of the following 2018 series, as I've mentioned multiple times, but I could not dunk on those beats. I love that soundtrack, and it doesn't connect as perfectly as the OG series, but it still is excellent. For those of you not accustomed to Japanese bands and music, I would say their sound is a little similar to Weezer. Its grungy, rock and rollish, uplifting, and sometimes dirty beats elevates this series into the pedestal it deserves to be on. My one minor gripe with this series would be the ending. There's very minor closure and things aren't really tied off. But this could also be to instill the concept that life goes on. You learn to use your experiences in life to move forward, and that's really all any of us can do. I've actually read the FLCL manga as well, and it was cute. I love the panel structure, which has been a huge influence on my own manga, Blithe, since its inception. It's really an alternate telling of the series in 2 books, and I love the ending so much. It's more geared towards romance, and for any of you that have watched my other reviews, y'all know I'm a sucker for that mushy stuff. Final thoughts. Furi Kuri was my favorite anime for most of my life, and looking back, I can definitely see why. Animation and life-changing music aside, its character writing and subtleties are a driving force behind my own manga comic, Blithe. I still envision all the music I would play at specific moments throughout its own evolution. The short-lived expressions and interactions between background characters really brings a whole universe to life. FLCL was incredibly ambitious for its time, and it continues to be inspirational for so many awesome things out there. I really had a lot of fun rewatching it, and if you can wrestle with the chaotic storytelling in the first 10 minutes, you'll really have a blast with the rest of it. If you like my video just a little bit, liking and subscribing doesn't cost much, and goes a crazy long way. Maybe hit this notification bell over here, so you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you're a fan of FLCL, maybe check out my manga Blithe. Maybe it's for you. Thanks so much for watching, and have an awesome rest of your day.